And we're live. We're back. Today was a tough day. I had all these things that I didn't expect to happen. All these expenses. So I decided to, before I made it back home, use the phone, talk to you guys, say hi. See, no matter what happens, you can have a good day. And it's like you have to speak with poetry, not with harshness, not with anger, not with fear. Thank you, dear.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
Yeah. And remember to breathe, that extra 20%. And that's what life is about, navigating the situation. Got something that hits you. You don't know it's hitting you. It's up to you. You can navigate. And so, just relax. Have a coffee. And have a little prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. As it was in the beginning, is now, ever shall be, world without end. Father, protect me with your prana as I breathe it in. Let that energy go throughout my whole body. Let it heal every cell. Let it enhance the mitochondria. So in every day and every way, we take the piece of the earth and make it stronger. I feel your arm around me with love, co-creation, protecting me, keeping evil away, so I will not have to do harm. So I can have good thoughts, good words, good actions, good deeds, good outcomes. This is how life becomes better and better. It's a pebble. We have to speak with poetry. We have to speak in poetry. We have to appreciate that which we are. Love's co-creation. And what we have. With every obstacle, there's always much greater gifts given than having to hold things in, see it clearly. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And as it was in the beginning, is now, ever shall be, world without end. And let love's co-creation go from Father Sky through our prana, through the universe's prana, as we breathe it in and metabolize it in photonic light, and we ground it in our chi into Mother Earth, Gaia. Hail Mary, full of grace, Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now in the hour of death. Amen. Mother, Bless me indeed. Protect me from all evil. So I can be that pebble in the pond, expanding our territory amongst everyone, all our relations. To was then, is now, ever shall be. Protect me. Have me no disappointment what I don't have. I appreciate what I have and not disappointed in what I don't have. We have to look at where we come from, you know. It isn't from the advertising agency. You know? It's not as is advertised. We have to go deeper into who we are to understand this, to let this deep inside ourselves. As it was in the beginning, is now, ever shall be, world without end. Well, I'm letting go. That's the other thing we have to learn how to do. Let go. Don't be anxious. Let go. We have to live in the moment of our experience, and all experiences are local. Now, we do have cultural dynamics, social dynamics. Those things are just reflections of not the moment, but the past. We can look at them, we can be introspective, but we don't have to let them rule our lives. See it clearly. Thomas. I saw you earlier, but I couldn't read. I didn't have my right reading set of glasses, but now I do. Good to see you, Thomas. And if we all pray together, we can be that pebble. Because, again, I started out this in 2018 in May 8th, which was roughly about 15 months ago. Right at the halfway, because we got about 15 and a half months to go to where the effects, I mean, we already feel the effects, you know, our present political, you know, across the world, you know, Brazil, the Philippines, France, England, the United States, Mexico, and a whole host of Yemen, Israel. I mean, everyone's going for what they can get. No one's going for what is needed. And the only thing that is needed, the thing that is needed most, is love's co-creation. You know? You have to, in every day and every way, take love's co-creation, make it stronger. See it clearly. See it clearly. So, all I can say is thank you for being there. imbalance, events, transactional. Like blast, and each one of those little pellets is an event. Who it hits, what it does, and how we can deal with it is really the depth of the situation. I missed you. I haven't been able to go online. My vehicle is a little. Having a car is like having a. No, it's like having. I don't know what it's like. It's like having a car. Things happen to it that you can't even expect. Oh, so I don't even know what to expect. So I don't expect anything except love's co-creation. And they get home, that's great. The car can hold in there, that's great. I have to go back to Virginia for medical things, but I don't know if I'll be able to make it. I just spent half of what I have for a month. So that's where I'm at. How are you feeling, Thomas? I can energetically feel you. You'll have your trials and tribulations. You are letting go. Yeah, it's 9/11 today. And it's like 18 years ago. That's a lot of time. Right? A lot of wars, a lot of dead people. 9/11 unleashed our military on many countries. We've killed probably over 1 million people. It's a sad day. But every day, more military is out there. And it's, there was a guy who was probably one of the most highly decorated soldiers. He was a Marine colonel. I think he got 2 highest medal. And while he was in service, he never made any comments. But when he retired, they came to him saying, "Hey, we want to throw FDR out and have a coup, and we want you. Everyone loves you. We're going to put you in as president." He went along with it. Told FDR to those guys and said, "Hey, cool your jets, right?" And he could have put him in jail, put him up in front of the firing squad, but they were all some of the richest men in America. Oh, what's his name? You were in the Army. What years did you do service, Thomas? Anyway, pretty much every war that the United States has ever fought has been about money, about someone making a profit. And the people who fight the war and the people who are the innocents, collateral damage, they're the ones who suffer. And over 1 million people died since 9/11. And we're not even out of the countries that we went into. Whether we will ever get out is a good question. And pretty much every president we've ever had has been put in there by the hidden hand, not by anybody who's really righteous, Once you get there, it's like you owe somebody. And if you're a righteous person, like Bernie was in the last presidential election, he should have won. the DNC kind of screwed him out of it. Nobody went to jail. And the one person who could lose to, everybody else who was running to be a Democrat could have won over, but Donnie. But the person who would lose, who could lose, who was designed to lose, was Hillary. And Biden stayed out. Biden could have won, but he can't win this time. Biden gets picked to run against Donnie. Donnie's going to win. And we're going to have... Your dad was a farmer. Whoa, Thomas, you served a long time. 95 to 13. You were everywhere. What was your job in the Army? And what kind of farmer was your dad? Big farmer or small farmer? Butler. Now, what was the name? He's a Marine colonel. Artillery. It's amazing you can hear anything. And also, every time those shells would go off, you're being, coated with chemicals. So what kind of artillery? Big, middle, small? Were you next to the gun, inside a vehicle? Were you protected? I was, I wish they bring back the draft. The draft made wars political. Yeah, tumor. Pretty much being in any element of the military, you're just a guinea pig. You're just cannon fodder. The guys who went off in Desert Storm, they got, irradiated by depleted uranium. In the Vietnam War, they didn't want me, so they gave me a option to serve in the VA, which I did. And I was very blessed because I was well trained in many, many, many different disciplines, and I put them together. And that's kind of how I got shamanic, psychosocial, cultural, forensic, anthropologic, alchemy. And we helped cure. We had lots of guys who were basketball stars one year and no legs the next, like Lieutenant Dan and Forrest Gump. And there are a lot of guys like Forrest Gump there, too. And for those guys, there was a term called innocent lucky bastards, In this material world we live in, Thomas, we're all, dying of something. The thing is to live every moment we have, and I know you do that. Because you wouldn't have been able to serve from 95 to 13 if you weren't living every minute, and you wouldn't be able to serve and be alive from 13 to now. I thank you, my brother, for your service. Yeah. Was it concussive in your shoulders, or was it, um, a shrapnel or an explosion wound? So if you were in the artillery all those years, man, all the concussion and all the environmental toxins you were lead. Yeah. Yeah, that lead is a very, buddy, good to see you, buddy. Have you met our friend here, Thomas? Thomas Robinson. He's a patriot. He has served our country from 95 to 13. And he has paid the price. We've all paid the price. Everyone of the cadre has a story to tell. And because we all love this cadre, the cadre who serve others rather than themselves. And Thomas, if anyone is alive in this environment, we're all disabled, on different levels. The hardest is folks who are disabled who think, they're not, all the politicians, they're disabled. How could they do the stuff they do if they weren't? We all have our challenges, I know I do. And the best we can do is wake up every morning, pray, meditate, energize our body. Thomas, have you gone and watched any of my guided meditations? Breathing in 20%. If you find yourself in the most calmest place with the cleanest environment, and you breathe in 20%. And when you do that, you quiet your mind. If you try to use your mind to quiet your mind, never going to happen. You have to kind of distract it sideways, almost put it to sleep. And by breathing 20% in, meaning we breathe normally, our autonomic system has us breathe to a certain place. But we go that extra 20%. You have to occupy the conscious mind with that fact. I'm going to breathe more, right? And then breathe out 30%. You're expelling. And he puts forth one of there's foods, the Vedic medicine, Pitta, Kapha, others, right? Go look it up. And each one, needs to eat different things. One needs to eat meat. One needs to be a vegetarian. One needs to be right. But the one thing that all of us can do is heighten our healing abilities through breathing in the prana and metabolizing the prana. And if you drink warm water, you get nice, distilled water or good water from the tap or well or wherever you get your water, it's good. You add honey to your taste and black pepper. Have that be your beverage, and that will help, energize your body, enable your body to metabolize the prana into every cell, cleanse every cell, enable you to eliminate through your breath, and also when you go into state and you evacuate all the anger, all the hate. I mean, we're all angry, Thomas. For what you've experienced, I'm sure you're angry. I know I'm angry through all the things I've gone through, and I've been blessed with teachers and mentors who kept me on the straight and narrow to, let go of that anger. As soon as it came into my window, I would let go of it, but still, it would be there. It's part of, being in this bag of water. You have to pray. You have to meditate. You have to let go every day. And you have to write, and not a journal per se, but first just write everything that pisses you off. Just list, right? And let it go. Pray to let it go. And then open up your mind to free verse, to just write whatever pops in your head, you know? And then go back and re-edit those things. So, like all those things that pissed you off, write about them. Right? All that free verse you write, kind of edit it. And spend anywhere between 5 minutes to 5 hours, whatever you got. I got a lot of time, so I've been doing that a lot. So the thing is, we have a cadre here, Thomas, Buddy, start talking to each other, you have a lot in common, both of you, and you can help each other, and there's, how many are there watching this? There's 3. So, the cadre is there more or less to help each other. Yeah. The thing about memory is there where you can relive the lost comrades you had, all those good times you had. Even when you were in some real, bad place, you got a comrade with you. That's what got you through. And if you lost that comrade, don't lose that comrade from your heart. And that's what heartfelt reality is about. Holding that love in your heart. Now, I've lost a lot of comrades, a lot of people who I truly love, but I haven't lost them. They're just not with me physically. But they are in my heart. And when I go to sleep, instead of thinking about, that person who cut me off or took my parking space or any of the above, I think about those I love who aren't here, but they are in my heart. So, Thomas, go back and look at all the shows that I've got up there. It's getting close to 700 if I don't already have. And take a good look at everything that's good in your life. Now, PTSD, again, something will set that off, a sound, a smell, a noise, whatever. The thing is, I have this process called deep loving, DPL. Deep loving, deep P. It's like a very strong host, a position, a place where you put yourself, where you don't, it keeps those triggers at bay, right? And there are a lot of minute by minute, day by day, we get better. And with friends, with new friends, we get better. So it's 30 minutes. And I keep getting chugged here. But Thomas, reach out to the cadre. Go back through the other channel, the other shows on this channel, Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Bob. And go to the guided meditations. You must have at least 100, if not. They're all energetic. They all will be relevant to you. If you stumbled on our channel and you like it, you will like whatever you see. So that's the path. that's what I'm here for. You know, I'm definitely not here to. I mean, my basic ulterior motive is, you know, I'm a very social guy. I'm living out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, nowhere. And being able to go online and speak to you and hear your voice is very good for my heart. And shamanically, I go into text, into building the frame that you can all come to and leave with a, um, a thing that will support you. Right? And again, if you go back and just watch the shows, you will, you know, what I suggest is you go get yourself a dartboard, but, you know, at Goodwill or yard sale, cheapest Walmart one they got, and throw a dart at the dartboard, and you'll get a number. You know, it'll be, you know, 4. So you go look at the 4, you know, go all the way back and see number 4. You know, you get 28, you go watch 28. You get 140, go look at, you know, and go start looking at and use the dartboard as your magic 8-ball, and go from there. And know that I love you. I always love you. Yep, soul training helps. And everything that we're experiencing here and now is soul training. Everything in the physical body. This is
Did you use this? No, okay, I didn't think so.
this is a place, you know, to understand. I mean, our lives are. Your connection is unstable, like me. Please wait while we try and reconnect. Oh, anyway. So this life, no matter what we go through, it's just a sandbox. It's a learning place. It's a thing to learn. Right? You know, it's not. You're not here to, you know, become the movie star. You know, the president. The most important, hot and cold to go. Coffee. And you know, so everything we go through has a reason, has a value, and when we can grasp the best sides out of everything we go through, like today's day, you know. But, you know, it's okay, you know. I'm going to go home and write all the things that piss me off. Then I'm going to write free, you know, thought. Then I'm going to go back and comment on the things that piss me off and let them go. And then I'm going to go into, you know, the things I free associated there and see what ideas I can take into my writings. Still writing my novels. You know, I've got 3. I got one called Angel Dust, another one called, it's actually the story of Job. Moral Majority. It's got a big title, but the first part of it's Moral Majority, blah, 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 blah. Hot pants. Moral Majority, a bunch of stuff in the middle, hot pants, right? And then the next one is, I think it's called Playlist or something. Yeah, I'm homeless too, buddy. I mean, I'm living out in the deep green. I'm living out in the middle of the woods. And I kind of live in my car. And, thank you,
All I
Doc.
have is this that starts.
Okay, that's good.
Is this enough?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get you.
Yeah, just start some more and
2 lids or 1 lid?
2 lids.
Two lids.
Yeah.
I got some more making if
Okay.
you want.
Yep, yep.
So,
I do. Thank you, dear.
all right. Well, I'll just take this back there and when it's ready.
Thank you, dear. You're the best. So, 2017, I was homeless, and for pretty much the whole winter. And every time I was thrown out, evicted from wherever I was, it came like that. Not like, oh, I'm getting tired of being here. Can you get out of here in 3 or 4? You don't know. Which is never a good way to have to go someplace. But so about at least in those, from the day after Christmas to about Mayish, I was thrown out at least 10 times. Might have been more, might have been less. And each time it was like Charlie Brown and Lucy with the football. Oh, you can stay. You can stay. Oh, I want you to stay. Oh, it's important. You're helping me. Oh, you're important. Get out. So, and I've had friends who've told me that I'm, what's the term they use? You know, an acquired taste. So, because I can't lie, I can't cheat, I can't steal. So I'm always very honest about what's going on. And most people don't like honesty. And it took me almost 60 years to figure that one out. Thank you, darling. And if you could slip a little in there.
Okay.
Thanks. Yep. And so, that's the real deal is take each day as it comes and look for the brighter spots, those things that can make you happy. So,
There you are.
thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
So, I pray that I make it back in one piece the next 20 miles. Gonna leave soon because I want to be able to have the sunlight with me. And but that winter of 2017, which was very difficult, I spent most of the time in my car, or people's couches, or under a tree with a tarp. I met some pretty amazing people. I'm going to leave you off with this little story. So I got thrown out the first time, and I was heading to some people in West Virginia. I knew they didn't have phone numbers, so I couldn't get a hold of them. So I drove up there just with faith that they'd be there, and they weren't. They had gotten thrown out from. I had no idea where they ended up. And I just had enough money to like this, have breakfast, have a meal, put gas tank in my car, and I ended up in a real hard way. But I walked out of that diner with $12 in my pocket. And I walked out and there was a girl begging at the door. But she was in nice clothes. Nice clothes, right? She wasn't a bum. And I said, "What's wrong, girl?" "So I haven't eaten in a couple of days." I said, "No. Where are you from? And, what are you doing here? And, you don't look like a bum. You don't look like a road dog." And she goes, "Oh, no, I'm not. I come from a very nice family. And could you buy me breakfast?" And I said, "Well, I can buy you as much as, $12 can buy you." So we brought her in. We had, she had breakfast. And I said, she gave the whole story. And what the story was, she was, millennial, graduated from big school with a lot of debt. Her parents were paying the first few installments, but they couldn't pay it. She was going to have to do something. She expected to get a job coming out of a big prestigious college. Not really. She was not prepared. So she was going to go back and, you know, get her other degrees on the credit card, but she wouldn't have to pay. You know, so she would spend the next 5 years and prepare and get a job, blah, blah, blah. So she decided, and she had a bunch of friends who were in the same situation, that they would take a road trip, have one big, excitement thing. So they did. So they decided to go they were in Georgia, to go from Georgia all the way up to Maine on the Appalachian Trail. Well, they had never camped. They had never, they didn't even go online to see what they needed. They went with all the wrong clothes, no tarps, no camp, no tents, no nothing. And they lived off the generosity, and the AT is like one big Congo line. So they did that, and then it started to get cold, and they were like, in northern West Virginia, right on the mountain ranges between the Blue Ridge and the Alps, and it's really cold. And this, if you remember 2017, that January was like ridiculously cold. And so she said her buddies had found a place in the woods, but they were all freezing there, and she was supposed to be there to beg some money. I said, well, I've got a bunch of food in my car, because I always come prepared. And I said, let's see what you got. Go there. It was like a log cabin from back in the day. And I mean, like Revolutionary Day or Civil War Day. It was a log cabin. And so, but it'd been a place where the teenagers hung out. There were a couple of couches. There was a big fireplace. There was a potbelly stove to cook on. And there was a pump for water. I mean, it's kind of frozen up, but So anyway, but the chinking had come out, and there was garbage everywhere. So I come there and I go to we drive into that place, because I take my 4-wheel drive car and kind of tiptoe into the woods to where this place is. And she said, there's kind of a road, and it was kind of a road, but luckily there weren't any, you could get there. So we got there, went out there, and I had a ton of canned stuff, and I, cooked stove and cooked pots and, utensils, everything to make a couple of, days worth of food. Anyway, so I said, we got to build a fire. Well, we got to go to Lowe's and buy firewood. I said, no, we're in a forest. Where's the wood? And I said, it's on the floor. And they looked in the floor of the cabin. I said, no, the floor of the forest. Oh, but it's wet. I said, not really. I said, go up there and get logs and kindling. And I showed them all, pointed out, this is a log, this is kindling, drag it in here, and I'm going to prepare. Well, who's going to do it? I said, you're going to do it. Go get it. Come on. So they all went out there, and they were dragging logs and kindling and everything in between. And so we had a big pile of wood. And I had taken a couple of the other kids who were there, I got them to take the garbage and roll it up and stick it between the logs so the wind wouldn't come whistling through, right? And we put it in first they started putting it in, just taking the garbage off the cabin floor. Said, no, you got to take it outside, because if you do it here, the wind will just blow it here. But if you roll it up and put the stuff, the wind will blow it so it'll fit tighter into the. Anyway, these are all common sense things. These kids, all college grads, they did not have any sense of what to do. They had been there 2 days freezing. They didn't even build a fire in the fire. It had a fireplace. It had a wood stove. Anyway, so started up the fire, started up the wood stove, there was a big cast iron pot. I kind of, scraped it out, washed it out, and, put water, I had bottled water and some other potable water, but not bottled water, that I got out of a tap into big plastic jugs. And I, filled it up and boiled it up and then scraped it out and boiled it up again. And then each time I boiled it up, I would pour the hot water down into the well, a pump well, and it primed it. That happens when you pray. The whole time I was praying, okay, let this work, let this work, let this work. It's like I'm praying, let me get home without any big problems. So anyway, so We had, heated the place up. Now our place was like, 70 degrees instead of like 9 degrees below zero. I mean, it was below zero. And we made a nice camp inside. There was a couch. We took the cushions down and made a little island of cushions. And I had a couple blow up beds that I put in the car, and one of the beds actually folded out, had a bed. And they'd been sleeping there for 2 days and didn't realize that it was a fold out bed in the couch, So anyway, so that first night was really great, a big celebration. I cooked a big meal. They were like, wow, this is great. And I still had, enough canned food to last at least a week, if not more, enough to figure out what we were going to do. So anyway, the next day we get up, it's okay. So we got to get more firewood. So we got to expand our parameter and clear the floor, drag it, big stuff, bring it close, just firewood, what to do with firewood, how to do that, right? And we had pump, water. And so as our circle got, I couldn't move its stuff because I was in worse shape than I am today. And so I had 2 canes and braces on my legs. And when I said, we got to collect wood, they expect, oh, you go do it. I said, no, moron. I'm 67 years old. You are, 24, go get it. So, but no one's ever told them to do that, But they did it, and they liked doing it once they realized, wow, this is fun. Once I taught them how to, then we went around and picked things out of the woods, that you could still pick out in the middle of winter and kind of chop up and throw in the stew. So they were like really grooving on this idea. I said, this is what sustainability is about. Yep. Well, water was spring H2O. That's true. Norma. Yeah, like that little baby. Yep. And that's what a griot does. Tells great stories for mindless work. And then at the end of it, you've made an amazing discovery. Right? So anyway, day 2 comes and, our circle is expanding. And out of my peripheral vision, I see people off in the woods and they're like making sure they can't be seen. I'm totally got it.
You got it? Better?
You can throw a few ice cubes in there.
Yeah.
And a little coffee.
Absolutely. Regular.
And see how they take care of me. So the bottom line is you have to be prepared to let go and accept what's the matter. So anyway, off to the side, there were these people over there. Almost what are known as shadow people. They were like over there. Anyway, so I just kept telling the kids, hey, here's a pile over here, drag it in there and watch it. This is poison ivy. Watch out for that. Thank you, dear.
You're welcome. You got enough creamer?
We're all good. And so I kind of just, slowly made it where they got closer and closer where, they were like only about 10 yards away. I kind of turned and said, hey, why don't you come over here? Come on. No one's going to bite you. And so 8 people came out of the woods, and they were all U.S. American soldiers, just like you, Thomas. And they were all in their soldier gear, right? And if it had been summertime, they would have stood up because they had their desert camo. But they were definitely in that state. And so I go, well, we went off to war after 9/11. We served our country, and we were made to be deployed over and over. They had all been deployed more than 6 times, some 8. And at some point, they broke in country. And some, snot-nosed lieutenant gave them an order, and they said, no, sir, that's a minefield. The Taliban will wait for this, and they got thrown out for disobeying a direct order. And all these guys had silver stars and purple hearts, and they were decorated up the kazoo, but they were thrown out because they had PTSD already. They had PTSD by the second deployment. By the eighth, they were, and so they were brought home. They couldn't fit in, and so, and a lot of their friends had committed suicide. And there was one who was, that person was a MASH person, and had been working in the VA, and he had the stats on how many people committed suicide. So the chat is being de-chatted. Well, the long story short, out in the woods, with a bunch of these snowflakes who didn't even know enough to pick wood off the floor, and then there was this 8 soldiers, 2 women, 6 guys, who were really well trained to survive. And I brought them in the cabin, and I said, okay, listen, you are here, you're trained to survive. Teach these kids how to survive, And so when I'm negotiating this connection, this girl's cell phone rings, right? And it's her aunt, and her aunt says, "Oh, I hear you're in the woods, and your mother told me to give you one of my cars, and I got $1,000 for you, and just get over here." And it was only 50 miles over there. So I said, "Hey, I'll drive you. We'll buy some food, supermarket, not a problem, right?" And so okay, so brother, get the car, get 1,000 in cash. So why don't you give me 200 of that? So she does, and we go to a supermarket. And when we're in the supermarket and she's buying a whole bunch of stuff, I'm not telling her, don't buy the expensive stuff, buy the cheap stuff, let your money last a long time, start being a wise shopper. Anyway, so we're doing this, and we're waiting online, and this woman is like right next to me, and she looks like the Michelin Man, like she's made of tire, and she starts feeling my arm, and I go, "Yes, you want something?" She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I didn't mean to get so close." And I said, "Okay." Anyway, so she goes, "Are you a handy guy? I need a handyman." And I go, "So what do you mean?" And she takes out her smartphone and she shows me the house she was living in. It's a gigantic, 7 bedroom, 7 bathroom, palatial joint, not too far from where she's shopping. And I go, she goes, "Things are starting to break, and it's starting to get cold, and the heat doesn't work, and this and that. Are you a handy guy?" I said, yeah, I actually got my tools in the car, which I always do. Right now, I got the tools in my car. So anyway, I go with her, and I fix her everything, and that's a whole nother story that I'll tell you another time. But that is to show you that if you let go of the fear, these things just come up and take care of you. So I needed to take care of those kids. I needed to take care of those soldiers and bring them together, And when I left them, they were now a good company, right? And but there's so many soldiers that are living in the Appalachian Trail, and where I live in Tennessee, I'm just off the Appalachian Trail, and they come through, and the people have been let known, hey, there's this guy, he's got a nice place to camp, and he's not too far, and if you're respectful, he's very gracious. So anyway, so that's about life. No Section 8 for me. Yep, good man. So my dad was in the Air Force. But anyway, that's a whole nother story, which I will tell you. And it's almost 60 minutes, so I'm going to kind of get going here. It's 5:19. And I love you all. And Thomas, thanks for coming on. Welcome aboard. You're part of the griot. You're part of the chorus. The griot is, I don't like calling people subscribers. Have you subscribed? Subscribe. Get other people to subscribe. They're the griot. The folks who want to be, go look up what a griot is. It's a person who's looking for a teacher and he wants to be the teacher's student. And as a student, he's the teacher's teacher. So that's what you are, Thomas. You are part of the griot. And the people who come on the chat are the chorus because they're talking, they're singing, right? So you sung your song and it was a beautiful song. And I truly appreciate it. Norma, thanks for being here, buddy, and everybody else. The other 5 or 6 of you are there. So I'm just going to say goodnight. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, who knows? I'll try and get there more than I have. Okay? Okay. I'm ending the stream at 57:57. Here we go. 5, 6. There we go. Come on.